So I was going to do a review on Sonic the Hedgehog, but instead I got this imposter, this impostore, this fake, this fraud, this phony.
Just before you left her, Sonic, nobody ever goes in, and nobody ever comes out.
This counterfeit, this sham, this doppelganger, this con artist, this cheat, this pretender. These are my first four-figure statues. Yes, and right off the bat, I can tell you I absolutely love them. Now, I've always been hesitant to pull the trigger on a first four-figure statue. No particular reason, I would just see other statues out that I just wanted more. Now, I wasn't too impressed by the first wave of the Sonic the Hedgehog statue line that they came out with. Just kind of plain and simple, no thrills and fills about them. Didn't really impress me. One good example of that was a previous Shadow the Hedgehog statue that they had a couple of years ago. Again, nothing wrong with it, it just didn't impress me. So when the first four figures decided to go ahead and redo Shadow, and this is what they came out with, yeah, huge improvement. I mean, it's just an immaculate statue and far superior, in my opinion, to the original one. And you know me, I'm a sucker for variants, so when they came out with the regular Shadow and the Super Shadow, you know I had to pick these up. Now, as a quick side note, if you did pick these up as the combo set, they did come with matching numbers. Not that that really matters to me, but apparently that's a pretty big thing with a lot of collectors. But enough with the small talk, let's get to the review. All right, so first start off with the base. Now, because these are the special edition, let me show you what's so special about them. Bam! 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 That's right, folks. We have some light up effects on these guys. So we got the flickering effect here, off, and just the stationary colors here. I'll leave them like this just so you don't get too distracted, or hopefully you don't have a damn seizure. Well, obviously we have Shadow here with the base is green, and Super Shadow with the energy effect beam is yellow, okay? But first off, let's start off with the actual base itself. Both bases, no, they are not the same. They're the same design, yes, but the actual paints and everything, no. So we do have bases here that are representative and iconic of in different stages of Sonic the Hedgehog. I believe the reference for these were actually from Sonic Adventure 2. So let's start off with the base of regular Shadow here. So the very bottom of the base is kind of like this space graphic theme, and on top of it, it's the platform, which is typical platform for when you're fighting. Normally, in my experience with Sonic the Hedgehog games, in one of the mechanized stages, for example, in a Robotnik stage or whatnot, okay? So that's the base for regular Shadow here. The base for Super Shadow, on the bottom, we have, you know, a space scene where the very bottom of the base, it's that blue kind of outer space background. And on top, yes, it's that black with all the stars. So first, let's start off with the similarities between these two guys, then we can branch off into the differences. So yes, the energy effects are exactly the same. The only difference, obviously, is the colors. The pose and the sculpt for Shadow himself, yes, they are exactly the same, with the difference being on Super Shadow, he has a clenched fist, and regular Shadow, he has a Chaos Emerald, okay? Head sculpt is exactly the same. And yes, this energy effect does come standard with both figures. I just decided to leave this one on regular Shadow and not have it on Super Shadow, but they do come with both of them. So let's move on to Shadow himself. Now, I absolutely love his huge freaking sneakers, you know, the iconic red, black, and white. You know, I love those color combinations. Anyway, so his shoes here, yes, and throughout the statue, the paint is all the same color. There is no shadows, no shading, no different colors. You know, it's the black you see is a black you get throughout the statue. So every color here, the whites, the blacks, the reds, the golds, the browns on his face, etc. It's all the same color, you know, which works for him. You know, we're used to seeing statues with a lot of different paints, colors, shadows, shades, etc. But him just being these solid colors, you know, I have no complaints, no gripes about it. You know, it's really nice. Now, the one thing that is different is his eyes. His eyes are the only part, as far as I can tell, that are kind of a glossy finish, which I think is awesome because, you know, these characters do have huge freaking eyes and you want that to be the focal points. You know, especially because eyes are supposed to be wet, I think it was an excellent decision to go with that glossy look for the eyes. Now, Shadow here does have that Chaos Emerald, and it's a beautiful green emerald. You know, I love that it's clear resin. I believe it's clear resin, but I just love that it's clear and you can see right through it, but it has that green tone, green tint, and it just looks awesome how the light reflects off of it with the light up feature on the base. And of course, Shadow being the manly hedgehog he is, he has that white fur on his chest. I can only hope that eventually one day I can be manly enough to have a chest full of white hair, just like Shadow here. So moving on to Super Shadow, obviously we can see the major difference between him and Shadow is a yellow skin tone on him. Yes, and he does achieve this when he becomes super. And the other difference, of course, is his closed fist here. Obviously, he's not going to have a Chaos Emerald since he's already in that super state. So he's just in there, ready to battle, ready to kick some ass. And yeah, we have it right here with Super Shadow. So here is Super Shadow with the energy effect. Now, in my opinion, you can't go wrong either way, with or without. But the way I am going to choose to display him is just like I had originally set him out, which is regular Shadow with the energy effect and Super Shadow without the energy effect. Reason for me, guys, is because I just feel the energy effect, because it itself is yellow, you know, including the base, Shadow himself, and this, I just think it's an overwhelming amount of yellow. But it still looks good, honestly. You know, I don't mind displaying it with it, but I feel that because Shadow here has a black, the green, the yellow doesn't really affect it so much. It actually kind of has that contrast to really bring him out more. But despite that, Shadow here is black, so any color you put on him is going to contrast. But Super Shadow here, obviously yellow, red, those two colors are perfect together to be contrasting against each other. But when you add the energy effect, I just think it's too much yellow. Still looks good, I just think it's too much. So there you go, that's my review on Shadow and Super Shadow here. But I would love to hear your opinion about these two statues. Leave your comments down below, let me know what you think. And if you like this video, please comment, like, subscribe, share with anybody you know. And as always, collect what makes you happy.